kidding, right? No kidding. I've done it a lot of times. Welcome, you people. It was 22 years ago that I came to Seattle and started my first company. And so I'm now going to talk about a little bit of my own journey in 5 minutes or less. And that goes forward. So I've been an entrepreneur for a long time. Started my first company when I was 12, before they had area codes, as you notice on my business card there. Along the way, I've started 6 companies in Seattle, had a couple of exits, one to BlackBerry, one to Google. I'm going to talk about Rival IQ, which is one of the companies I started and learned a lot about here. Oh, that monitor's really bad. And now I'm a managing director at Pioneer Square Labs, where I invest in other companies, start companies, and spend a little bit of time with a lot of companies instead of a lot of time with just one. So when we started Rival IQ, the first realization was marketing is really, really hard. How many people are in marketing in here? Demand gen, customer acquisition, it's really, really hard, and it's getting a lot harder. But we were 4 engineers, and we thought that we could really start off and solve a problem of making marketing a little bit better and a little bit more data-driven. Because we were really tired of sitting around with marketers who said, you know what, my opinion is we should do this. Or my opinion is that. Or when that last job, I tried this marketing thing and it did this. And we said, you know what? Opinion is not very good. Data is way better than somebody's opinion. But you know what? Getting data is really freaking hard. It takes a lot of time. And as soon as you get some data, it changes. And the data is in a lot of different places. So we decided to build a product that made it very easy to get lots of different data from many different sources to compare one company to many other companies. So 1 is you had the data, and 2 is you were able to say, it's not just my opinion, it's my opinion relative to lots of other people's opinion. So what we did is we made that very easy. It's a self-serve platform, makes it easy to say, this is my company, and I want to compare it against all these other companies, primarily around their digital marketing or social marketing data. So imagine you were a brand manager at one of these car companies, and you wanted to say, we should probably be on that social media thing, probably important for us, but how much content should we have to produce? Is anybody else over there? So with Rival IQ, within about 5 minutes, you'd be able to say, I'm that brand, and I want to compete with all those other brands, and where's all their audience? How big is all their audience? What channels are they on? And how quickly is it growing? You might also say, well, we want to be on one of those channels. We have to create a lot of content, or at least have to create some. In the last 30 days, that's how many pieces of social content those companies created. So if you want to figure out how many people you need, how much content you need, you have to figure out who you're competing with and how much you need to do, and that's the answer, at least in the car category. The next question you might ask is, what content is good? Right? Anybody ask that kind of content? You're like, wow, I looked at all these Instagram posts. Are any of these any good? All right, here's a little trivia game. These are pieces of content from car brands, and if I told you that one or more of these got a lot more engagement from a particular audience of that car brand, which one, think in your mind, which one of these pieces of content got the most engagement? Top right, the puppy. You think the puppy, right? How many people think the puppy? How many people think the cool lighted Lamborghini wheels? Right? How many people think how about that one? That one? No, that one, not really good. Anybody know what that is? $500,000 car. Holy shit. Even with all my startups, they can't do that one yet. Okay, so this is what happens in a lot of marketing rooms. There's oh, we should do this. We should do a picture with puppies. We should do a picture with this car or that car. It's bullshit. Let's use data. This is the actual amount of engagement as a percent of their total audience and how much they engage with each one of these pieces of content. Puppies are good. I have no idea why those are good, other than the fact that that particular car, which I did look up, is unpriced and at least $350,000. And it's a super cool video that you should go watch. But you can now do this with your content or any brand's content to know exactly how much engagement it has, what kind of engagements, likes, comments, or shares, to understand your content relative to other people's content. So building that product, we've actually done a pretty good job. We got about 550 customers, some of the brands are listed there, and it's going pretty well. But we did a few things which were wrong. We learned a few lessons. 1 minute worth of lessons. One is for every one of your companies, you have a direct competitive landscape, you have an indirect competitive landscape. That is the number of marketing solutions that currently exist today. It's over 6,000. If you're selling a marketing product, your customer is overwhelmed with choice. Number two is we built a very much a self-serve product that we did with content marketing, self-serve, people click through. At one point, we made the choice that says we need to go up market. We need to go enterprise. We need to hire salespeople and spend freaking $35,000 on Salesforce, and it was a really big, bad choice. Should have stayed mid-market, should have not done that, and I can tell you lots of learned lessons about that, in addition to Salesforce. And then third is we way underestimated not the churn of our business, but the churn of people in their companies. Social marketing people move between companies very quickly, and when they leave, our product left with them. So we underestimated churn of people, not just churn of product, much of which we couldn't control. But you know what? It's never too late to get your shit together. Start again. So we now have a database of 150,000 companies we track every single day and over 1 billion posts in the database. And we're now using that with some pretty cool machine learning to do some cool things. Like understanding why somebody got engagement. Why? Because they paid for it, not because they created organic content. We can now do that with machine learning because we have enough data. Most of you guys will never accumulate enough data to actually do any kind of machine learning. Boop, 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 boop. Thank you very much. Number two is engineering is marketing. Our team is about 15 people. We are now using more than half of our company to use that are engineers focused on marketing. They are helping people select the right piece of the product to use when they come in, understand other companies they should pay attention to when they're comparing themselves, and others. So engineering as marketing, training your engineers to think like marketers or the other way around is something that's really important. An example of that is we now have all these benchmarks. So for a category like athletic shoes or cars or makeup or travel or hotels, you can go onto Rival IQ, do a benchmark, and we tweet this stuff out a lot, which generates new leads for us. This is an example of engineering as marketing. So a few things I learned along the way. In every one of your startups, replace the we should with I will. There's a lot of we should out there. We should do this, we should do that. Replace it with I will. Get more data-driven in all of your decisions. When you're making a key decision, understand who's made that decision before. Figure out how to get that access to that data, whether it's asking or comparing, and learn from others. And now for me, if you have questions on marketing, marketing tech, engineering of marketing, or big data or machine learning, ask me at Rival IQ. If you have questions about doing a startup, getting funded, or doing an incubator, ask me at PSL. And if you want to live longer, like to 200, check out my new podcast, How to Live to be 200. And with that, I'll take questions.
All right. We knew you went over, but we'll allow for one question from the audience.
It's up to you, man. It's your show.
One question from the audience. We got a hand.
Yes.
You'll repeat the question on the microphone for everyone.
I will.
That's fine. I actually talk really loud, so this should be okay. Okay, so I actually work at a 3-person startup right now, and we are trying to test out our messaging with people, right? And I was actually, so we did a lot of brainstorming and everything, and we narrowed down to about like 15 or 20, and we have no idea which one's going to work, right? And so far, we've been kind of trying to run ads and sponsor posts across the various different platforms. Is there a cheaper way to figure out which messaging actually works?
Well, so I'm biased, but no matter what, I would say that you have to find an efficient way to do comparison. Rival IQ happens to be one of those, whether you're talking about how do I compare my meta description to how do I compare my homepage, which actually is a feature in the product too, to how do I compare to my direct competitors and other people who sell to my audience. And that's what I would call a competitive landscape or collection and a comparative collection. Because there's a whole bunch of people who are you a year ago or 2 years ago or 5 years ago who spent a lot of time and money figuring out what messages, what hashtags, what keywords, what day of the week, what it looks like, what words to use, and it's all out there for you to be taken, and it's easy for you to do a 7-day free trial or get 25% off a monthly subscription or 50% off a yearly subscription to Rival IQ for all you guys who just mentioned me tonight.
You get a subscription.
And you get a subscription.
Woo! Put your hands together again for Rival IQ. Thank you so much.